Hi there, Graham Keith here from The Great Wake Up. Thanks for listening to this audio today. Now, in today's one, what I'm going to do is following on from my interview with funeral director from the UK, John O'Looney, back in 2022. You can see that video. I'll put it on the end screen for you. So when this video is finished, you'll see that video pop up about the COVID vaccine and the truth of the COVID vaccine. But for now, we're going to talk about Hantavirus. And we're going to tell you, yes, you've guessed it, the exact same BS playbook script is being used by the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, and all the elitists who believe they're in control of this world. So what is hantavirus? Well, hantavirus is allegedly a transmittable disease born from rats. But I've had it confirmed by a very well-known doctor. Her name is Claire, and she was recently on the podcast of a very, very big YouTube channel from Dr. John Campbell. The hantavirus cannot spread human to human. It is not airborne, okay? So it cannot spread to humans. So why would they be telling you they can spread to humans? Well, fear is a great currency. When you want to control a scenario, manipulate and engineer an outcome, fear is your best friend. If you want to get a vaccine in someone's arm, you scare somebody senseless that this virus will kill them and they must rush out and get a vaccine right now in order to protect their grandma or save their children. Where have we heard that before? But I must let you know a couple of things about the COVID pandemic, scam-demic, in brackets, which are the same here. So the COVID vaccine, one, was not a vaccine. It was a bioweapon containing ingredients like graphene oxide, turning off the SV40 gene, and spike proteins, which cause irreversible damage throughout the body, not to mention white, rubbery type calamari style blood clots, which are not blood clots, they're man-made, and they're self-replicating throughout the body, which have never been seen before on any virus anywhere in the world or any vaccine anywhere in the world. Okay. Also, we must remember that the tests used to test for COVID, okay, were called PCR tests, polymer chain reaction tests, developed by a man called Kary Mullis, who very, very coincidentally passed away just before the rollout of the vaccines in 2020. Interesting. Well, what Kary Mullis said was, under no circumstances can you use my PCR test to test for a disease, a virus, or if anyone is sick. They were his words, not mine. And yet what did they do? They rolled out the entire testing system. They added insult to injury by using the word asymptomatic, which means you have no symptoms yet are still infected. Have you ever heard so much nonsense in all your life? Then we were told about masks, weren't we? And masks are great because they stop you breathing in the virus particles. Well, what they didn't tell you was that the masks that they used were shipped in from China, and those masks were laced with cancer-causing chemicals. So when you inhale, you're getting spores going directly down your airway. And my sister, funnily enough, and sadly, had esophageal cancer screening tests immediately after a vaccine. And immediately after following all the protocols like wearing a mask, sanitizing, all this kind of stuff, 6 feet apart, 2 meter distancing, social distancing, which again is complete nonsense, it's control. But she had a throat cancer scare from the very same thing. Obviously you can't tell these people this because they think you're a raving lunatic, and they just get sicker and sicker and sicker as they take more and more of the cure, they believe, and they don't join the dots. So were you sick before the vaccine? No. Did you have COVID? No. So why would you need a vaccine? Well, because the TV told me to. Is that what you heard it? Did you hear that there was a pandemic on the TV? What about the day before the pandemic? Was it all over the TV the day before? No. So everything the day before was perfect, right? And then as soon as the TV told us, killer virus, everyone died in Wuhan, everyone must get a vaccine, it'll kill your grandma if you don't get it, you can't go on holiday, you can't work, you'll get the sack. All of these manipulation tactics were used to get people to take the vaccine, weren't they? And it's the very same with this hantavirus. The exact same protocols and systems will be used. Then we'll see the online censoring. Okay, remember those? The fact checkers. Couldn't check a fact if it, their life depended on it. But this is what we're seeing. Now, this will be exactly the same for the hantavirus as it is for the COVID, because it is a script that they're using. But I do believe personally that now so many people have saw through it that they're not going to fall for it in the same way that they did for the COVID one. And hopefully not, because many, many, many millions of people globally have been maimed, severely injured, paralysed, strokes, heart attacks, pulmonary embolisms, POTS syndrome, uncontrollable shakes, Bell's palsy, cancer, turbo cancer, dementia. How long is it going to go on? And what? All of this was caused by a vaccine that was allegedly developed for a common cold, because a coronavirus is from a family of common colds. And guess what they didn't tell you? You can't vaccinate against the common cold. The common cold is an inbuilt system into the body of detoxification. So when you are ill, you are actually going through a wonderful thing, which is a detox of your body, which is clearing out the rubbish, clearing out the crap, the pain, the garbage, the mucus, all that kind of stuff that you don't need in your body. That's what the purpose of the cold is. What I'm saying in a nutshell, folks, is that the whole thing's a fraud, a fake, a false flag, a scam, a lie. Hence the word scamdemic instead of pandemic. And it's no different for the hantavirus. The hantavirus is exactly the same script. It will be used to again cut the grass. In other words, depopulation. Depopulation. These people have an agenda. By 2050, they want to remove 4 billion people from the earth. They'll do it in a number of ways, but false pandemics are a very powerful way and a very effective way, first time round, that they did this. So just watch as the news, the mainstream media, the newspapers, the radio stations, and everything, they'll become omnipresent. They will literally be everywhere screaming about hantavirus, screaming about getting tested, screaming about wearing masks, screaming about getting a vaccine. And they'll go through the age ranges and thin the herd and cut the grass that way. Remember, government, their job is to control your mind. Look at the root of the word via etymology. Govern means generally to control, to manage. And ment in Latin means mind. So they're managing your mind. They're controlling your mind. They're nudging you. Remember the nudge unit from the UK government? The nudge unit? And Matt Hancock's email saying, when are we releasing the next variant to scare the public? I remember the elderly who were given the vaccination, but they were tested, and with a false test that can't detect the virus, by the way, and then put on essentially palliative care and given a good death, which translates to Latin euthanasia, which is what Matt Hancock ordered. And he ordered tons of midazolam and morphine from France, which was used to murder the elderly. We're understanding this yet, folks? Then, when you died of anything else other than COVID, COVID was put on the birth certificates and financial incentives were given to hospitals for doing that, to inflate the figures because the virus didn't exist. What really existed was flu, which was rebadged. Yes, they may well have released some pathogen. They may well have, in order to have people go, what's this deadly thing that I've contracted? Or it could have been just the build-up of the Wi-Fi radiation soup, which causes Kawasaki disease. Again, same in 1930 with the Spanish flu. They literally just built the first towers, cell towers kind of things. And it was the radiation that caused the pandemic. So everything shows you, going back in history, that everything's a lie. Because it is. Remember, these people have to manipulate you into fulfilling their agenda for them by you. So if they need to kill you with a vaccine, they need to convince you there's a virus that could kill you first. And that is exactly what they do, and exactly what they did in COVID, exactly what they did. So remember this, because it is exactly the same with Hantavirus. The same script, the same players, the same murderers. Question is, are you going to fall for it this time? Are you going to fall for it again? If you've already had the jabs and boosters, and I would highly recommend not getting a single jab. Don't get a single jab or booster, because you don't need them. You don't need them. Because it won't be the virus that kills you, because the virus cannot transmit to humans, cannot be tested for by the test. The masks, holes on the masks are too big and the virus particles go straight through anyway, if they're not laced with cancer-causing chemicals. Remember, they control the pandemic by altering the number of test cycles to the test. The way the test is proven whether you've got COVID or not, which can never prove you've got COVID or not, and can never prove that you've got hantavirus, therefore. They operate in cycles, and they can be controlled by the hospital. So they can literally rise and fall the numbers of people that are so-called contracting hantavirus. They can do that at will. They change the cycle, they change the numbers. If they want it to go up, they change the cycle. If they want it to go down, they change the cycle. And this is how they can bring in so-called new variants. By lowering the cycle, they lower the number of people who allegedly are testing for hantavirus. But then, if they want to make a new wave and say, oh, we got a new deadly strain, a more deadly strain, they will up the cycles to produce lots of people showing test results which doesn't test for a virus and can't test for a virus and can't tell you you're sick, that you essentially are sick. It's crazy. It's ill. It's mental illness from these people in charge. They are absolute psychopaths. So that's hantavirus in a nutshell. The same bullshit story as COVID. Don't fall for it. But you've got your own choice. You've got your own mind, you know. You can make up what your own decision. You can do all of that stuff. No problem. But just be wary, because these people are not your friends. They want you out of here. Because AI is coming. And their digital utopian agenda on the way. It's well on the way. Unless we stand up and say no more. Enough is enough. Your fake, false pandemics are never going to work again. Hopefully that's given you food for thought. If you're on the fence about hantavirus, then just look at my COVID-19 video that's going to pop up at the end of this one. I'll put it on screen for you at the end here. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. You know we'll always appreciate that here at The Grey Wake Up. And we really do appreciate you. As the channel is starting to grow now, we're very grateful for that as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to click on the pop-up, the COVID video interview with John O'Looney. and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So apply what John and I tell you in that video to the Hantavirus video, to this video, and you'll see the similarities, and you'll see it's just one big scam designed to manipulate you into your own death. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.